Hey everyone, and welcome. Artificial intelligence, or AI. It seems like it's everywhere these days, right? But what's really going on under the hood? It can feel like this big, mysterious black box. So today, we're going to pry open that box and take a look at how it all actually works.
Right, so this is the big question, the one that sounds like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie. Can a machine really think? And the answer? Well, it's a little complicated. But I can tell you this, it's not magic. It's a process, and it all starts somewhere you might find surprisingly familiar.
I want you to think way back to when you first learned how to read. You didn't just pick up a book and instantly get it, right? Of course not. You had to start with the absolute basics, learning your letters, sounding out words, and then, finally, putting them together into sentences. Well, AI learns in a very, very similar way, building up its knowledge one tiny piece at a time. So let's dive into what that learning process actually looks like for a machine.
And just like we need books and experiences to learn, an AI needs data, and I mean a ton of it. You can think of data as the fuel that makes this whole engine run.
So where is all this info coming from? Well, it's pretty much everywhere. We're talking about public government data, information from social media, sensors in our cities, even our online shopping habits. All of this digital information comes together to create this massive library for the AI to study. Okay, so you've got all this data. Now what? What tells the machine what to actually do with it all? That's where algorithms come in. The easiest way to think of an algorithm is like a recipe. Seriously. It's a super precise, step-by-step set of instructions that tells the computer exactly what to do to solve a problem.
And this is where things get really interesting. We go to the next level, machine learning. Here, instead of just following that recipe perfectly every time, the machine starts using the data and the algorithms to teach itself. It starts to find patterns, learn from what it's seeing, and make decisions, all without a human having to program every single little step.
And all of this, it fits under the big umbrella we call artificial intelligence. AI is the whole field, the science of getting a machine to do things that would normally require human intelligence. So just to recap, data is the fuel, algorithms are the instructions, that combo drives machine learning, and that's a huge part of what makes AI, well, AI.
Okay, so we've got the how, but what does this actually look like in the real world? A lot of the time, AI isn't about replacing people. It's about being a sort of professional co-pilot, helping experts do their jobs even better.
Let's take a look at a real-world example. Meet Emma. She's a radiologist, and her job is incredibly important. She spends her day looking at these super detailed medical scans, searching for the tiniest, earliest signs of disease. And as you can imagine, the pressure is just immense. I mean, with hundreds of scans to review, trying to catch every single thing, every single time, that is a monumental task for anyone. But this is where her AI co-pilot steps in. The software can analyze these scans and flag areas that look a little suspicious. It can even spot patterns that a human eye might miss after a long day. Now, this doesn't replace Emma, not at all. It empowers her. It lets her focus her incredible expertise on the scans that need it the most.
Okay, next up, let's meet John. He's an inventory manager, and his job is basically a constant balancing act, making sure there's enough stuff on the shelves for customers, but not so much that it gets wasted.
The problem is, this target is always moving. Customer tastes change. The market is unpredictable. Just looking at last month's sales data doesn't really cut it anymore when you need real-time insights.
So John's AI co-pilot does something that's frankly almost impossible for a person. It crunches real-time sales data, market trends, even things like the weather forecast, all to predict what people are going to want to buy. It turns what was once a guessing game into a smart, data-driven strategy. And that helps him reduce a ton of waste.
And for our last example, let's meet Aisha. She works at a bank, and she's on the front lines, fighting financial crime as a fraud detection officer. She's got to find the real criminals in a massive sea of transactions.
But here's her problem. The system flags thousands of things. And guess what? Most of them are totally fine. It's that classic needle in a haystack situation. How can she possibly focus on the real threats when there's just so much noise?
You guessed it, her AI partner helps. It learns the difference between a genuinely suspicious pattern and, just an unusual but legitimate purchase. It connects dots across tons of transactions in a way no human could. It basically filters out all that noise so Aisha can stop chasing false alarms and use her skills to investigate and stop real fraud.
So, as we've seen with Emma, John, and Aisha, AI is an absolutely incredible tool. But here's the thing about tools. They're only as good and as safe as the person using them. And that brings us to maybe the most important part of this whole conversation, the human in the loop.
And for this, let's bring in an expert. This is Rachel, an AI ethics expert. She says it is vitally important that as we're working with AI, we are always thinking about the ethics. The goal isn't just to make something cool, it's to maximize all the good things AI can do while doing everything we can to minimize any potential risks.
And her advice for anyone getting into this field, or even just using these tools, is actually really simple but so powerful. First, ask a lot of questions. Be curious. And second, always consider the ethics. Because this isn't just a tech problem, it's a deeply human one.
Yeah. And when we start thinking that way, we stop seeing AI as some kind of rival or replacement. We start to see it for what it really can be, the start of a really powerful new kind of partnership.
It really boils down to this. AI is amazing at processing huge amounts of data and spotting patterns. Humans, we bring the insight, the judgment, the ethical compass. And when you combine the two, that's when you can start solving really complex problems and shaping a much more innovative and productive future.
So in the end, AI isn't some force of nature that's just happening to us. It's a tool that we are building. So the real question isn't what will AI do, it's what will we choose to do with it? That power and that responsibility is in our hands. Thanks so much for joining me.